beautiful Johannesburg morning, and thank you very much for giving up your time to attend. We hope we're going to give you fantastic value, lots of knowledge, and a very entertaining and very, very knowledgeable bunch of speakers over the next 2 days. I'm Ian Morrison. I'm CEO of the Cape Innovation and Technology Initiative, which is based in Cape Town, and the Bandwidth Bond, which is one of Africa's oldest accelerators and incubators. We've been working in the innovation space for a little while, and we have a number of innovation clusters, one of those being fintech. You might have heard about our BitHub, which has got a Bitcoin Academy. We do a number of fintech initiatives there, and we work very closely with Barclays Rise. Before we start, I'd just like to thank the hosts of today, which are Bitcoin Events and ABSA, member of Barclays. And we got a little word from Paul Null on video, just to say hi. Paul is head of open innovation for Barclays Africa. He's sorry he can't be here, but a little 2-minute video we're going to play now. Thanks.
A very warm welcome from Rise, Cape Town. It's quite an honor and a privilege as those from the ABSA member of Barclays Group to be part of the open innovation supporting this type of event. Over the next couple of days, as we get involved into the conversations and the collaboration around Bitcoin and blockchain, we will explore areas where a lot of people have a lot of fears about, a lot of people have a lot of unknowns about, but we here at Rise are fully supportive and fully embracing the opportunity that this can bring. Rise down in Cape Town, just to let you know in the audience, is really a physical space where we connect to the global community across the world, where we have offices in London, New York, Manchester. We're opening in Tel Aviv this week itself as well, and down here in Cape Town. We are providing a space for entrepreneurs to link to the bank, to link to other financial sectors, to help solve for the problems and the products and the solutions for tomorrow, both faster and cheaper. We're very excited about the concept of blockchain. We're very excited about what we as ABSA and Barclays and Rise can do with yourselves as entrepreneurs and thought leaders in this space, to make this something real and something really exciting to get stuck into. It's a very privilege, a great privilege to support this initiative. Thank you for all being here, and always welcome to come down to Cape Town to our Rise offices. Our objective and strategy down there is to have a look at the opportunities of both connecting, co-creating, and ultimately scaling the business opportunities that are out there. I encourage every single one of you to fully embrace this, enjoy the speakers, and the lineup is phenomenal. I think that the conversations we're going to have between the different speeches and the panel discussions are going to be out of this world. Really looking forward to these next couple of days. This is the future, and we have the greatest opportunity to make a difference today for tomorrow. Thank you and enjoy.
Great, thank you for that. Thank you, Paul. And I think that's another great example. Just the fact that we've got mainstream banks involved is, I think, quite symbolic of how this technology has evolved and how focused and how conscious it is of in the eyes of the mainstream institutions now, which I think if one had to look back a couple of years, you can understand how fast this is now starting to move, that the mainstream financial institutions take. I'd just like to get a little bit of a feel from an audience perspective of how involved you all are or aren't in blockchain. Could I just have a show of hands for people who have a reasonably good understanding of Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and are possibly involved in the ecosystem? It's great. Okay, we have a knowledgeable audience. Is there anyone here this is their very first exposure and learning and understanding or lesson or lecture in Bitcoin and blockchain? Okay, great. Okay, that's fantastic. I think it's going to make for a good mix. I think just to provide a little bit of context to the day, yes, it is about cryptocurrency. Yes, it's about blockchain. It's about Bitcoin. But what we've been seeing recently, and being someone myself that works in technology and works in innovation, really has been an accelerated wave of innovation over the last 18 months. And what the result in that outcome of that innovation has been a continual greater efficiency of product and service delivery, and a massive benefit to the consumer. One of the big trends that I've seen in innovation at the moment is that it's starting to cut out the middleman. And we've all had experience of it. You do your travel bookings incredibly differently to how you did your travel bookings 5 or 6 years ago. So what that does is start to cause major disruption for the established players. And I think a lot of today's theme is going to be around that disruption. The other observation from my side is I've really seen the narrative around blockchain, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency change. A year and a half ago, it was all about Silk Road and money laundering, and the words that I see used a lot, and again, I think they're going to come out today, are providence, trust, transparency. So the technology really has evolved in a very, very favorable way. And when you think of the words providence, trust, transparency, think of Africa and think of Africa's problems. And you start to think of lack of transparency, and you think of corruption. And you think that you then start to understand and imagine the potential this technology has to really change lives in Africa. And I think that's what makes this exciting. So we've got quite an international spread of speakers, but we will also be not forgetting that we're in Africa, and a lot of us are here to see how we can apply this technology further in Africa. The other big trend I've noticed is where disruption, where innovative technology is successful and where it's disruptive, inevitably it ultimately starts to clash with the regulators. We've seen it with Airbnb all over the world. We're seeing it with Uber more and more, and now we're starting to see it with fintech, particularly with cryptocurrencies. So that, therefore, becomes very important context for us to all understand. How does one go forward? Does that become a war, or do we look to cooperate, and do we hold hands and do this together with the regulators, obviously, which would be the favorable outcome? And there are a few themes today which are going to cover that. So what's coming up? We've got the future of fintech. We've got blockchain use cases, smart contracts, something I'm personally very, very excited about. And how do we deal with regulation, particularly in an African context? And some of you might say, well, e-money has been around for a long time. Africa really should have a handle on it because it's had digital remittances perhaps longer than the rest of the world. But we'll hear later on that perhaps there aren't that many similarities between e-money and cryptocurrency. So up till lunchtime today, we're going to hear about predictions for the future of cryptocurrency regulation from an expert in the field. We're going to hear a very exciting story from Simon on a blockchain use called Ethereum. And we're going to talk about blockchain helping developing nations